All right, history folks. I realize this is a not seated class, it's an online class, but one of the things about history is sometimes it's helpful to have a frame of reference. Sometimes it's helpful to have a talking head, and that's me. I'm the talking head for this particular class. If you are on the first page of Moodle, then you've already looked at the intro, and so hopefully if you've already looked at the intro and you looked at, boom, Unit 1, then what you've seen at the very top of the page is the evolution of man, which means at this particular point, some people have gone, oh, okay, cool, and some people have gone, oh my gosh, this guy believes in evolution. He thinks we're monkeys. Let me help you with this. I don't believe mankind was ever monkeys. That's not the way it works. That's not what the book says. That's not what any of the books say at this particular point. I believe in evolution, yes. I believe in creationism, yes. I don't believe the two are mutually exclusive. Why do I believe this? Well, gosh, my grandmother on my mother's side is 6'4". My grandpa on my mother's side is 5'6". Yeah, little bitty man. On my father's side, my grandma is 5'6". My grandpa is 6'4". If you met me in person, you would say, dude, you are not either one. I'm 5'11". I am a mix of them because it's that funny thing called genetics and how it's displayed. Now, if you met me and I would introduce you to my family, you would meet my children. I have 2 boys. They're 6'4". Whoops. So there must be a mix of genetics. There must be a mix of DNA. I fully believe that the best traits evolve. That, yeah, there's hiccups along the way. There's changes in how we evolve, but we're going to find out that some traits that are good or dominant reproduce. And so we evolve over time. For those of you who want to start throwing biblical quotes at me, by all means, go ahead. It's not that I'm not well researched on it, because I can go ahead and cite that stuff for you too. What it is I think we change to suit the circumstances, and it takes quite a few years. Why is this important? Well, we're talking about American history, but before we can talk about American history, we have to actually get to be Americans. We're not Americans yet. For those of you who are not real familiar with the evolution or the story of mankind, the way it works is this. We don't start here. Nobody starts in North America, at least not according to current beliefs. And that's the key here, current beliefs. Current belief says that mankind, based on physical evidence, based on anthropological evidence, we start off as a version of mankind called hominids. Think, human blank, right? Human blank. Not monkey, no, but human-like. And from there, you're going to have a version called a Homo habilis, who is going to be an adaptation. He's going to be an evolution, because what he can do is he can forward think. He can think a little bit better. Homo habilis is the handyman. He's a maker man. He's a tool maker. He's the one that's going to figure out that he can pick up a stick, and a stick can become something. He's going to find a rock that's called an eolith, E-O-L-I-T-H. And folks, if you look at the study guide, you'll see a lot of these terms are in the study guide. Study guides are not mandatory, but I'll tell you what, if you go ahead and print out the study guide before you do the reading and fill in some of the terms as you read, because it's actually chronological for most of it, you'll find out you remember this stuff much better. He's going to pick up an eolith. An eolith is also known as a dawnstone. What he's going to do is go, oh, rock. Actually, he's probably going to go, because he can't talk yet. But he's going to go, okay, well, this is a rock, but this is what it could be. This is what it could do. So what he's going to do is he's going to pick up a sharp, jagged rock and go, hey, this is a Kaolian hand axe. This is going to be a scraper. It's going to be a digger. It's going to be a saw, a cutter. It's going to be a chopper. It's going to be the Swiss Army rock of all Swiss Army rocks. And so that eolith is that's going to be that definition. He's going to figure out that he can take this stick and he can poke this stick in a hole and scoop out termites. Yum! Now, you're going to say, oh, well, dude, there's some monkeys that can do that. Well, yes, there are some monkeys that can do that. But the difference between us and monkeys not only is going to be the brain pan up here, but these things here, the opposable thumbs. All right? That's our evolutionary standard. Because if you start looking at us, gosh, if you look, my claws, oops, got a broken claw there. My claws are not that good. right? My fur, my armor, not that good. But my brain and my opposable thumbs are going to make the difference. And so here's the thing. We're going to evolve over time. If you look at the terms, you're going to say, oh, dude, Homo habilis, he's going to change. He's going to become Homo sapiens. That's an evolution of man. It's going to take thousands of years for one evolution to go into another. But what's going to happen is we're going to become eventually Homo sapiens, and Homo sapiens are going to be a different version of man. Again, more forward thinking. The brain pan is going to be different. The cerebellum is going to be different. How our brain is structured is going to be different. And what's going to happen is we're going to go from those eoliths into microliths. We're going to take and be able to shape rocks, be able to chip away rocks, be able to say, oh, we don't need this big rock, but if we shatter it this way, we can form small rocks. So he's going to get what's called a microlith. So he's going to do arrowheads. He's going to do sharpeners. He's going to do knives. He's going to do spearheads. That's going to be the thing. The Homo sapiens is going to be that man who can take and not only make fire, but he's going to use it to shape the tools in the environment around him. We look at Homo sapiens as what we call hunter-gatherers. They live together in small groups. And here's where we start to change. The book talks about the Paleolithic Era, which is the old Stone Age, right? Eventually what's going to happen is we're going to learn about agriculture. We're going to learn about cultivation. We're going to learn about things like, farming. We're going to learn about things like irrigation. And so what's going to happen is we're going to go from hunter-gatherers to living in small groups in small towns and enter what we call the Neolithic or the New Stone Age. That New Stone Age is going to be important. That's when agriculture really comes in. Rather than finding food, we're going to start raising food. From there, a lot of things are going to happen. Eventually, what will happen is we're going to shift from the Ice Age, and it's going to thaw. Here's what you have to know. The current story is this, that there was one large continent, right? One large, what they call Pangaea. Some of you are saying Pangea, Pangea, I don't care. It's one big continent that's going to go fracture and split apart. It's going to drift over millions of years. It's geological time, folks. What we know is this, is continents continue to spread, but also climate change happened. Yeah, climate change is a real thing, right? Climate change happens. We shift from an ice age. We shift from lots of glaciers. We shift from lots of snow, from lots of ice. We have tons and tons and tons, millions of tons of ice gathered up in the middle of the continent. So people are traveling along the oceans. They're traveling along the areas that thaw first. So think about ice cubes. Ice cubes don't thaw in the middle, they thaw on the edges. So what will happen as people start to move, and they're going to travel. And what's unique is this, we can travel more because the area between the continents is not as watery. If you've got a closed cycle, we're a closed environment, folks. Water can't escape. So if water is piled up by miles and miles of ice on the land, there's not as much in the ocean. So what will happen is we're going to be able to traverse from Asia to North America through what we call Beringia. Okay, Beringia is that area where the Bering Strait is at now, which is relatively shallow as comparison, but they figure at this point it's a wide open plain. And what will happen is this, animals are going to be wandering, herds are going to be wandering, and we do what humans do, we follow the food. So what's going to happen is we're going to follow the food from point A to point B. Point B is going to be the coast here. It's going to be the coast of North America, and we're going to transition. So what will happen is this mankind who originates from, according to primordial Eve, according to our DNA, or according to our RNA, according to a lot of things that happen, we originate in Africa. And then we split in transition. There's all sorts of family trees, and we end up here. Okay? The form of man that ends up here is Homo sapiens sapiens. Okay? From there, what's going to happen is we're going to form societies. We're going to form cultures, and eventually that's who Columbus runs into. So I'm going to cut this off now here because YouTube doesn't like videos for more than 10 minutes. And I'll pick up a little bit more with with the rest of this unit. Thanks.